Notwithstanding, Madam Speaker, our vector workers have been actively engaged in the field with the intensification of adult siding and larva siding activities in response to increased mosquito populations, heightened risk of vector-borne diseases. Currently, we have approximately 492 permanent vector control workers. And this could in part explain why we are where we are, because in 2022, we had 213 vector workers. This government has put the budget in place, created the posts where we have up to date double the amount of workers in the field. And they are working, so they are out every day. And I'm sure that they are making an impact, certainly based on what we see here. This represents a 131% increase in our complement of vector workers. We have other posts to fill, over 300, as part of the full complement. So what we used to do, just to explain, we have in the past been hiring temporary workers when we have an uptick in the vector and in the risk, with the risk of dengue. What the government has decided to do is to convert those temporary workers into permanent workers, which is in keeping with our commitment to worker well-being, greater predictability, better planning, training, and so on. And this is the result of that, where you're seeing more workers. I have given instructions in terms of the increased population for the regional technical directors to meet with the parish managers and vector teams to allow for additional overtime hours where necessary to engage, and that's important because we now have to do later in the night, sometimes early in the mornings, to also engage additional temporary workers where parishes require additional temporary workers to the end of the season in anticipation of a later expected rise in the mosquito population. I must make mention, Madam Speaker, that fogging will be conducted at schools also on the weekends, and we'll be working through the Ministry of Education on doing so, because the schools are a breeding site and can pose a risk, certainly, to our students and the staff, and those arrangements are in place. Additionally, we're looking at bringing on stream a cleanup program towards the end of October into November, and we will provide greater details on that cleanup program, the bulky waste and other such things that contribute to the breeding sites. On October 2025, Madam Speaker, in terms of vehicles, 81% of our fleet were operational. That's about 52 vehicles in service. This level of functionality supports ongoing work in the field. The swing fog is currently 84% operational. That's 139 handheld foggers in service, and these are critical to the fogging efforts in the field. While our dengue numbers are low at this time, persons must continue to take precautions to prevent illness. Personal responsibility, despite the efforts of the government, must become a priority now in the season. And we continue to reinforce the message that Jamaicans must search and destroy mosquito breeding sites, even as we lead the vector control measures. We must move with alacrity to search, destroy these breeding sites. Most of the times, 90% of the times, they are in and around the home, the backyard, the used tire, the tins, the vase, and the whatnot are in the kitchen. If you do a quick search, that's where you find the breeding sites, and those are the mosquitoes that become your threat. The use of DEET, or repellent controlling DEET, a standard response, and the regional authorities have been asked to intensify the public education program. So, Madam Speaker, this is an update. It's a preemptive strike. It's not an announcement of any great risk, but it is anticipation of the population expanding in the weeks to come. And it's important that we all take the necessary precaution.